Yo, what's up, everyone? And welcome to a stream after a very long time. What's up, y'all? I really want to see the chat right now. Let's go. It's been like what, at least 3 or 4 months since we streamed. Excited, guys. Yo, what's up, Anhad? What's up, Manvinder? What's up, Cyborg? Yo, what's up, Vinay? Happy birthday. Joy, what's up? Hello, 10K. Nice to see you all here. And hello, those of you who've been waiting for the streams. I'm very excited to be back on YouTube, at least for a couple of weeks. And what we have for you tonight, before I reveal that to you, if you're here and you've not dropped a single message in the chat yet, we want to keep this interactive, right? So just say hi, just drop an emoji, right? If you're here, attendance lagado, like right now in the chat. Tonight, though, what we're going to be doing is we've got a new format for you. So tonight is kind of like the, let's just say, closed group test, right? We've not officially announced this like in a crazy way yet. Today's episode 1. So we want to kind of keep it small with all of you guys. And tonight, we're going to be starting off our first episode of this new format of Demo Days. The way we've designed this, of course, we will reveal it all to you. I'm seeing vibe check in the chat. Nice. What's up, gang? Absolutely ready. Awesome. Let's go. All right. So, folks, tonight we're also going to be sharing with you a Figjam to really, really make this interactive. Now, of course, we're not going to share this right now immediately, but stay tuned, right? We have a Figjam to share with you. We've actually put this together specifically for this session. So stay tuned. We're going to share that Figjam. But before that, let me introduce you all to our guest for tonight. So tonight, I'm going to be hosting this with somebody else. I'm going to bring them on just shortly. Um, and what we're going to be doing is tonight we're going to be going through a specific design problem statement. This specific design problem statement was handpicked by me during the cohort a couple of weeks back. A bunch of cohort 8 members have actually worked on this as well. So we're going to be showcasing some of that work. But for now, let me get our guest on. Can you unmute yourself? I'm going to add you, bro. All right. What's up, Shai? How you doing?
Hey, hi guys. Hi Abhinav. Thank you so much for asking me to join. So that's really exciting. And
Yes.
since this is the first session, I'm just like really excited. I can't wait to see what the cohort has built. So going through the case studies, what they have built, it's going to be really exciting, and I'm just all pumped for this one. And yep, thank you so much, guys. Like I can see all of you guys are super excited for this particular session.
So, folks, those of you, let me introduce officially. This is Shai. Shai is also a designer. He currently works as the lead product designer at Freshworks. In fact, those of you who've been in cohort 8, you already know Shai. You've attended his TGIF session on one of the Fridays before this, right, a couple of weeks back. So, you actually know him already. For the rest of you here, you've probably seen Shai on maybe LinkedIn or where else. Shai, as a designer, where do you spend most of your time online?
As a designer. Okay, so I have this habit of having another smartphone. I told in the last session also. It's an Android device. I have the habit of skimming through Play Store, like how people skim through Swiggy, right? So I just keep installing applications randomly, and people ask me like, why do I do it? Like whenever I try to incorporate any design, I just get random inspirations from somewhere. I might not even be able to say, hey, I took it from that application, but then this habit of just skimming through applications, like I think Play Store is a great place to be in, or App Store, obviously.
Mm,
Yeah.
nice, nice. Folks, let me show you a quick preview. Chat is giving it up. Namaste, Mr. Shai, in the chat.
I guess so.
Nice. So, you guys know Shai already. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing this together. And so, let me quickly screen share with you and show you what we're going to be going through tonight. Okay. Mm, all right. So you guys can see us on screen. Here we go. Tonight, we're going to be going through one particular problem statement. And this is very similar to this thing we do. We started this in the last cohort. It's called Design Studio Simulator. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a quick audit tonight. We're going to be doing a quick collaborative audit. You and I, right? You're on the stream. We're going to be going through this. And the brief that we have for tonight, to all of you in the chat and to Shai, we're going to be figuring out how do you design a one pager website for a bus ticketing app specifically for Bharat, right? So this startup that we're going to be checking out, it's called Upnibus. Now, Upnibus, of course, some quick stats on it here. But before we begin, Shai, what's your initial impression? And folks in the chat, ready to begin? Ready to dive in? Just keep it a little active
So,
so I know what's happening. Yeah. And let me know if all stream and everything is clear. We'll continue forward. Mm.
for the first time when I went through the case study and whatever they have built, right? Like it was very surprising that like the quality of what they have produced over here, right? And I was even talking to a few folks before joining the call. Like I was telling them that hey, look at this case study and how these people have just graduated. They're just trying to penetrate into UX UI possibly, and what they have taught in terms of the structuring of the case, I mean, structuring of the landing page, the research that they put, the thoughts of having multilingual landing pages, and in terms of the color palette, all of that seems really professional. So I was really impressed with the cohort, like how they have produced it. Obviously, kudos to the team and to you. But beyond that, what really impressed me was like in terms of the context, right? Like they didn't even just think of, hey, let me just redesign this in terms of UI, but then they went beyond just UX and the UX copy of it. So I was like, hey, this is like really super good in terms of what they have presented over here. So I'm really excited to just
Mm.
dig deep into it. I had a very eagle eye view of what they have built, and it's really impressive so far.
Mm. Cool. Folks, just a heads up, we will be sharing this Figjam link. But, this is YouTube, so I don't want to just share it right up front. We'll share it in a while once we start making our way through. So, overall, let's do a quick overview, guys. So, whenever we start with a problem statement, usually it's a good idea to spend some time immersing yourself in what we sometimes also call as problem space, right? So, checking out what the app is, checking out what the status quo is, what does it look like right now, understanding the business, understanding what the different moving parts might be. So, this I've just curated it all to show you all a little bit of a preview. But Apni Bus, I just checked out their website. They currently say they are Rajasthan's number one bus booking app, right? So overall, it seems like this is the um, let's just say direction they're building towards. But tonight we're not really going to be talking too much about the app, right? We'll talk specifically about the website. And why did I even pick this problem statement, right? So first up, just to give you a quick overview of what this is all about, we do these things called Design Studio Simulator. In fact, we do simulator sessions as part of the cohort. One of the simulators is called Design Studio Simulator, which is kind of like how the name suggests, but this is kind of specific to websites. We also have something called Startup Simulator, which is around apps. You'll see that in maybe a future session. So members have the freedom to pick their own problem statements, whatever they want to work on. In the end, this is going to go in their portfolio. So they have all the choice. It needs to appeal to them. Besides that, I have personally selected these problem statements, right? So actually, I should have opened this up right here. Let's see. Let me open this. Okay, maybe I'll show you guys later. This particular statement, right? Why did I select it? So first up, I like the space. I like the company, right? There, it seems like, Redbus, which was I think one of the first few bus booking websites that I heard about. It's very interesting to see in a space like that, to see a new company who's kind of taking and owning a particular niche, right? They're starting with Rajasthan, and they've got really good metrics too, right? So I think they've got about 100K downloads. But why did I pick them? The main reason was in Feb, I opened their website and this is what it looked like, right? So Shai, let's go through this, okay? This is what their website is in Feb. And in fact, since then, they've also actually updated their website. So we'll check out what their current as well as, a couple months ago website looked like. And then let's try to identify what some problems are, right? So straight up, I mean, without going into the problems first, it's clear that they're building for, let's just say, a regional user base, right? It's people, Hindi is in fact as their primary default language on this page. Um, but yeah, let's go through this. Any observations, Shai, as we go through this? Just, unmute, let me know. Yeah.
But a quick question in terms
Hmm.
of what Omnibus does. They call themselves as the largest network in Rajasthan, yes.
Hmm.
And then they're not in any other city, like any other town, any other state, anywhere else, like
Hmm.
just Rajasthan.
I think they are, but at least for a little bit that I remember checking out, I think they are. But Rajasthan is the main, let's just say, their main market for now. So my guess is they're starting with a smaller market before
Uh-huh.
eventually going big. Yeah. Let me read this to you
So,
guys, right? Ghar baithe man chahi bus book kare, right? So sitting at home, the bus of your choice, you can book it. Bus stand ki chinta se chutkari paएं. Right? What's the biggest problem in some ways? The bus stand ki chinta. Shai, I don't know if you've actually ever tried booking a bus not online. I had to do this a couple years,
okay.
not couple years, but in college actually.
Uh-huh.
And bro, what a pain, man.
But Abhi, like, so a quick
Hmm.
question. When if I would have, if you would have reversed the table, right? Like, and you had the problem statement of designing a one-pager website, what
Hmm.
would be your ideal approach? The first approach that you would have taken, the first step that you would have taken,
Hmm.
what would be that ideal thing?
I think the first step, what I always like to do, is I like checking out what's current, right? The word I also sometimes use for this is just status quo. What's the current status quo? In this case, they already had a website. So this was where I first started. It's kind of tricky, designing website for this because you know that most people are probably coming from here. They're probably not coming from the website. They're probably directly coming from Play Store.
Uh-huh. Uh,
Um, so that was one thing where I was like, okay, the website, maybe it's not so important, but at the same
yeah.
time, you can't have no website, right? You do need to communicate because people will, you will have traffic there. Um, but audit
So,
is where I first started. Yeah.
the audit, right? Like, and the audit could have possibly revealed the fact that hey, the website is important. At the same time, it would have also revealed the user persona, right? Like possibly
Mm,
people who are more mobile centric, right? Or people who are
mm,
like more tech savvy. They would possibly go into uh, App Store or Play Store and then try to download Apnibus and then try to book the tickets. But
mm,
thinking about Rajasthan as a user persona, I think what they have done from Feb 2024 to May 2024, I think that's a transition that they should have done like in the very first step also, like in the very first stage. Because like I think the audience is majorly people who are web first, not app first. I wouldn't say mobile or desktop, but I would say web first.
Why
Can
would
be
you say so?
possibly. Maybe
What's your
because
reasoning?
so the rationale that I'm taking is like the user persona, right? Like thinking about people who are like my father, like or people who are not extremely tech savvy. they would possibly not go into App Store for search, right? And I've seen
Hmm.
this pattern change. People stop searching on Google. They started searching on Instagram and Play
Hmm.
Store. Very recently, I found a friend who used to search on Instagram. I was like, when did this become the search engine, right? Like, but still, I think the rationale behind it might be that it should have been web first. Just a thought.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I'm just putting down some notes as well as we're speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also checked out the traffic the website got. I don't have the number on top of mind, but significant traffic. And now, from a non-designer perspective, a non-designer might look at this and be like, "Ah, it's fine, na? Like, matlab, features, what it does, main call to
It works.
actions, little bit social proof, what's really needed, right?" But in the end, as
Yeah.
designers, guys, we have to remember this. Even if the rest of the world is okay with chalta hai, even if the rest of the world is like, it's okay, no worries, we cannot be that way, right? We have to be like, even if you have something that is kind of good, it's our job
Yeah.
to make it better, right? So when I saw this, I didn't really, I didn't really be like, oh, they have a problem. I saw this and I was like,
Yeah.
they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity to become memorable in a very crowded space, right? To kind of have that memorable brand. And so I saw this and I was like, okay, the website is actually doing a decent job at communication, right? So सीट के खाली होने पर नहीं टिकट बुक करने पर बैठे राइट बस की लाइव लोकेशन mobile QR mobile ticket, right? So it does explain how it works, but I definitely saw an opportunity here. Yeah.
And the May 2024 is the one that's live till now, correct?
Hmm. Yeah. Actually, let's talk about this. So that was Feb 24. In May, I just noticed, oh, they have a website redesign. And so I was like, okay, maybe they've actually fixed a bunch of this stuff. But looking at this, right, some of the changes they've made, like number one, they actually added a language picker, right? So now you can
Yeah.
actually choose language.
Yeah.
It seems like, the thing you just said, actually, which is the desktop version. It seems like
Yeah.
maybe there is a desktop version that they are building. So there is a sign up and login, I see. Um, clearly seems like that because the CTA, instead of just saying check out the website, they've actually updated it to be okay, you don't need to download it. If you're already here, might as well just, get started with your search. So this has been added. But Shai, I was like, damn, like still not, I wasn't happy, right? The designer in me was still not happy, right? Because I saw this, I was like, okay, good, they made an update. But then immediately I
Yeah.
saw this and my heart was like, Arey. Now, folks, in the chat, right? I know you're watching this, you're in a little bit Netflix mode, but quickly in the chat, can you tell me what's the problem with this? I want you to tell me in the chat. We'll, of course, talk about it. But yeah. Hmm. So comparing, right? Language, yeah. They added a CTA, which means they're building the, probably means they're building the web version of this. They
Yep.
added this big thing here. In the chat, I want to see answers. What's wrong with this? CTA still maintained, right? So not too deprioritized. It's still right here. One interesting thing, folks, that you can see is they have added some social proof, right? Some new social proof.
Yeah.
Like this,
Yeah.
I didn't see it on the original page. 5,000 buses. That's a big deal, right? A quick tip to all of you guys: try using that. Try using these numbers to kind of show confidence wherever possible. 40,000 villages. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay.
Large Poppins font.
Puffin's point. Yeah. Okay. What else? Let's see. Alignment. Manvinder, you're right. There is an alignment issue here for sure, which is what is this space here, right? Like this seems to be left aligned, but then the rest of this is center aligned, right? So, yes, Manvinder, you're right on that. Looks like a Google ad. Yeah. It's not fitting into the site. It's kind of feeling like something else has been inserted there, right? Some external thing. So, Sunay, you're right about that. Gets more attention than needed. Pipa sees. You're right about this. But I can
Yeah.
imagine the conversation in there. meeting room went something like, guys, this is very important. This is a very important update. Like, we are officially now with
The
Rajasthan.
empathetic me felt like, okay, they had a widget to just infuse into the website and they didn't have time to clean it up, so they just had to put it inside. So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like a CTA. Basically, like the blue official online booking partner looks like a CTA.
Mm.
Same font, same size, just weights have been increased. No hierarchy. That's a nice one.
Large Poppins font, alignment, border spacing, no focus. Why introduce a new color? They want to make it stand out, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
Could
It's
have.
standing out way too much. Branding issue, yes, possible. They've not really used blue as the brand, but then if they want to use blue, sure, they can have a secondary color. Okay, I think you guys got it. Okay, consistency, conflicting CTA. Yeah, I mean, in fact, I can't tell whether this is a button. This is probably a button, but this is conflicting then with your search, which is your kind of your main action to search.
Yeah.
Font size, yeah, hierarchy. Okay, so folks, the main issue, like, you guys got it, but I'll just give you a few words from my end also. How do you diagnose such issues? So, firstly, what feels off to you? Just make a list, right? So, personally, you can just make a list. In the chat, this is the list. You guys have, you got this. Besides that, another thing to think about, you know, from a stakeholder perspective, they probably said, by both important hai, dal dol, it has to be very prominent, right? So, from a client or the stakeholder, they're like, they've kind of forced you to do it. At the same time, you can kind of do it the right way, right? So, my issue here was this text is an H1, right? So this is supposed to be the most prominent, biggest heading on the page. So my clearly I see this first. But at the same time, the minute you go here, this is also an H1, right? It seems like although this is a heading, it's been used here, 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 and in fact, maybe even inside the button, right? So this from visual design perspective, it kind of all looks the same or kind of doesn't blend in, right? The way to do this would be take this card, look up some inspiration, maybe if you it'll help, which is how do you in a website add an announcement section, right? There's a few ways you can add announcements, but then beyond that, think about hierarchy, right? So the most, like, Shai, speaking in terms of hierarchy, the first thing I see here is actually this. Apni Bus joins hands with Rajasthan Roadways.
Yep.
But then it says Rajasthan Roadways here, here, and here, right? So
Yeah.
I would say Rajasthan Roadways once, like this should probably be on top. So joins hands with Rajasthan Railways. Then some context, how things change, what's new, something like that. And then if you want to add a CTA, I would say probably the label should be something like book now. Although in this case, I'm not sure what is the intention.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's a CD. I think that's a just an official online partner.
could be. Rest of this page, though, guys, you can see clearly they are making some progress towards this direction, right? In the end, like, just comparing, they've got a feature section, they've added some more social proof. They've got these two things that they're kind of talking about, which is you don't have to wait at the bus stop. So, my guess is their research shows that this is the biggest problem people have. So, probably this.
Yep.
They're trying to sweeten the deal. So, some incentive, which is you can get discounts and these coins. In fact, even a coupon right here. More social proof, which is nice to see, right? Earlier, I think the only social proof here was this. And I won't just call it social proof. I'll say it's a way to show confidence and trust, right? So you've shown that with numbers, you've shown it with this way. This, however, this is not it. Who are these guys? Who are these people? She is not a happy Apni bus user. She looks like she's not in India. Clearly not in Rajasthan. Neither is this couple. Um,
Yep.
Besides that, another thing I noticed is spacing. Now you notice this is a section and this is a section, but it almost feels like these sections are connected, right? So there is actually no spacing that's been added right here, right here. And in fact, there's been way too much spacing added here, which is, I feel like this image and this text, they don't feel related at all. You could bring them
Yeah.
closer and, you know, maybe even put these as bullet points. Um,
When I actually look at this entire landing page, the new one, I could just relate with how, just like you said, how the meeting room would have been. So many different ideas, so many different social proofs, so many different ways to tell people that, hey, this is an authentic platform to book buses. I think all of these ideas didn't cohesively come together well, right? Or
mm,
maybe different pods, different teams work together and try to pull it off, or maybe some kind of A/B testing that they're doing. But initially, what I would have taken as an approach is like I would have possibly seen the heat map, or maybe like how people are scrolling through the landing page and where they're stopping, why they're exiting, what's the bounce rate, why people are not clicking on the CTA. Maybe the official online booking partner is looking like a CTA. We can't hypothetically say that okay, that is causing people to click, but possibly it could have been just a misclick that could have happened. So what I would have possibly done is like maybe a heat map, certain product metrics that we would have gone through, and
mm,
then try to rearrange this and sit with the marketing team or the sales team and ask them, what do you want to pitch to people? What are the few unique selling points that you think has helped us convert, right? And then that's how they would
mm,
have reached this 5,000 plus buses, 40,000 villages, and all of it. And then take up a call of how cohesively these can come together. But
mm,
I think it's just different pods, different teams working together, and then they didn't just make it out well. And for an example, this particular section could have been a secondary top nav bar if Rajasthan Roadways is kind of sponsoring, or maybe they are actually being a great partner with Apnibus and they have to be on the landing page. I would have put it as a sticky secondary nav bar on top, like just like a
like here.
toast. Yep. So
Mm,
so that that always stays there. Even if I scroll, it'll stay there. So and didn't have to take this level of real estate.
true.
And App Store could have been a part of the top now only. Like I don't know why do you want to lose real estate, or maybe it's mobile first. Maybe if you think on a responsive view that they're trying to keep it over here,
Mm,
but I think just too cluttered, and especially the images. The images are like off-putting for me. Like as soon as I reach there, I feel like they've taken it from Unsplash or some
mm,
great websites.
mm, yeah, true. So,
You
folks,
know,
hmm,
Abhi, so I'm sorry to just cut you in. Like,
yeah, yeah, no
I
worries.
hope, I mean, a lot of us know about imagery perception, right? Like how Airbnb uses images to convert. I think images play a huge role, and especially when it comes to native applications, people for the tier 2 or tier 3 cities. I think images play a huge role,
Mm,
and few of the people who have redesigned these landing pages, I think the next one right after this also they have considered that they have started thinking about using realistic images, the ones from our cohort, which was really
mm,
impressive actually.
mm. So, folks, let's do this, okay? Let's check out real quick some other websites. And after this, folks, stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing this Figjam with you, right? Right after this.
Yeah.
So, Shai, I checked out a few, okay? And the members, the cohort 8 people that worked on this, they checked out some of these. So, that's how I discovered this. But outside of Redbus, right? Redbus, Make My Trip, I think we all know that. I was looking for more niche sites. So, I found Chalo. Um, just let's just give some quick top of the mind impressions. Okay, we'll go one by one. My quick impression was consistent brand, right? They've got yellow, which is their kind of main thing they're using. Nice name as well. The design, um, I liked it. I think it was very. See, I don't have very something very specific to say about it, but the fact that they used this kind of adds to the whole brand because it's like they've kind of made these custom things in their own style, and it also adds as a secondary effect, which is like actually showing um like we are in so many cities, right? So that's proof you're showing in some ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
um hmm. Other than that, features, I didn't check out all of it, but it did seem like there were some commonalities, right? So things like the QR code, scan. I didn't actually download the app and check out, so I don't have too many deep insights on that. Um, but it does seem like the kind of priority was till here it's for customers, and then here it's for a little bit for hiring, news, content. But I liked this as well. It does seem like they've got a really good content strategy, right? Of course,
Yeah.
not exactly related to design, but it's still lateral, which is they are going through the effort of creating these stories, this, let's say, organic kind of content or testimonial content as well. People actually having gone through these journeys themselves. Now, the advantage, of course, they can run ads on these on YouTube and everywhere else, but nice to show that it's a very legit brand using content as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other commonalities, I see a lot of sites do this, which is just adding the action right there. Makes sense. My guess is Chalo and these guys didn't do it because these guys started as app first. So I
Yeah.
don't know if Chalo has a web version. Other than that, I did see that, like something like this. Now, this is not the best design, but then at the same time, it's just like clearly they're just kind of deprioritized it. They're like, okay, the content is what's important. People will read it. Personally, I would not do this, but, you know, okay, that was a decision. Hmm. Any other observations here, Shai, before we move to some of the redesigns?
With Abibus, when you showed me that particular section where they didn't put much thoughts into the design, I've seen this as a common pattern between companies like Policy Bazaar, ACO. Their landing pages are very much short. It's very crisp, right?
Hmm.
Maybe their strategy is that maybe the data says that like people are here for more information, and that information converts, right? If that's the case, then possibly they would have just said that, hey, why to invest so much time into the UI while people are ready to read because it really matters to them, right? And
Hmm.
that's a call that we can actually take. And this is a great example of, I'm not sure how well it worked, but it worked great for Policy Bazaar. It worked great for Lemonade. It's not an Indian brand, but still they also follow the same strategy. I think maybe investing UI over here and getting attention from users might not be necessary for these sections, but people who want to read, they'll still read. Then do
Hmm.
you really need to invest your UI into it or the time to design it? It's another
Hmm.
question. But again, like you said, the standard as a designer, do you really want to compromise on that?
Hmm.
But again, it's a sweet spot somewhere. Go to market. Is it more important, or like maybe get buy-in time? And is the company willing to invest your time into
Hmm.
designing that? There's a lot of questions around it, and it's great to ask at this early stage.
Hmm. Yeah. One insight there, guys, in case you missed that Shai mentioned, is yes, you do need to pick your battles every once in a while. Like you might not have the time to do everything perfectly. And so usually this is like a sometimes a prioritization thing, or it's like, can we as a team progressively improve? But let's start with the most important. Let's start with the most frequently used or the core actions. Yeah. Cool guys. So here we go. In the chat, I'm gonna share this Figjam with you. You guys can jump in. In fact, folks, we've kept this section a bit light, like this audit, alternatives, and status quo. But I'm sharing the link with you right now. Would love to see some comments as well on the Figma file from all of you. But let's see. Here we go. All right, guys, just shared it in the. Let me share this once more. Just shared this in the chat. Check it out, guys. You can join the file right now if you want to just browse. But we're going to check out some of the submissions now. Okay. It's in the chat. Check it out. Okay, we've got some few people joining in. So, folks, real quick, if you're here, right, first thing I want you to do in this file, just drop in a hello right here. This is like just a fun little interactive thing. So join in, click through, guys. Put it here. If you're on your phone or something, no worries. You can maybe check this out later. Okay, we've got a few people joining in. Nice. Okay, folks. So let's check out our first submission, right? So to give you some context, this was a 14-day deadline, right? So we shared the briefs. It was a roughly 14-day window to work on it. But, of course, a little bit extended. So you can take maybe 14 to 21 days is how long people spend working on this brief. And we're going to show you some submissions, right? So we'll start with one of them. The one that I thought was the top submission here. We'll check that out. And then we'll check out a few more, discuss it a little bit, answer some questions in the chat. Um, and now that you guys have the Figjam, of course, feel free to ask questions either as a comment in YouTube or in Figjam, whatever. Yeah. Let's jump in, Shai. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the first one. So this is by Akash. This is his redesign of the Apni Bus page. This was done um, sometime in, I would say, Feb or March, when their current website was this. But yeah, Shai, you want to take us through? I mean, I'm curious to hear your impressions. Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing that I actually played the prototype. If Akash is there on the call, like really impressive, and I love the animations. I really wanted to ask you, like maybe you can leave a comment. I really wanted to ask you whether you used Lotte to do it or some GIFs to do it, or did you really use vanilla Figma to do it? Because those were really impressive, very well done. But anyways, like a couple of things that I saw when I saw this landing page. Akash has retained the brand. He hasn't played around with the brand. He has made sure that okay, there's consistency in terms of brand identity. I'm not sure about the font actually, but then like in terms of color, in terms of
Hmm.
consistency, in terms of the color palette, all of those are very well done. I really liked it. Although one small thing that I actually saw was like in his research part that he has written, he has actually said that like, hey, he has put all the brand colors over here, right? And when I looked at it, if this is the brand color which has been produced by Apnibus, then there is like inconsistency between the color shades. There was, or is it like Akash who has actually
Hmm.
derived the color shades? I'm not sure, but actually there was inconsistency in between the color shades. That's one. Second point to it is like if Apnibus has redesigned to May 2024, the one that you showed me, having an actionable CTA and search on top is the go-to way, just because I believe that how people perceive, right? How people perceive applications in the market. I've seen Booking.com, I've seen Make My Trip, I've seen Redbus, and all of them perform the same way. That I go there, I search for the place, I search for the city to the destination, and I choose the timing, and then I end up with an aggregation
Hmm.
of buses. So I think we shouldn't change that formula. I would want to retain that formula as something that I thought, okay, maybe that's something like has changed into what he has done.
Hmm.
So I would try to retain what people know and people understand and what people expect, right? That's one point to it. And second to it is like the way he has used illustration. I really loved it. He has given a humane touch to it. I think it's this human pack or something. I'm not sure on top of my mind, but
Hmm.
this has given that familiarity to me, right? It feels like another, even though it's an illustration, I feel that okay, it's an Indian illustration, it's an Indian person,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
again, if you think about the persona, like I said, if it's going to be my dad or like people who are going to be at like 30s or 40s, um, will they be able to relate with illustrations is a big question that I have, and that's possibly why Policy Bazaar or any other, why I'm this stuck on these two platforms, like these are stealth competitors. If you look at what Policy Bazaar is doing as an aggregation platform and the cities that they're targeting is what Apni Bus is also kind of doing, right? But there's different
Hmm.
streams and different services that they're providing. So looking at that, Policy Bazaar has never deviated from using real humans, and maybe
Hmm.
people can touch with that. That's just a
Mm.
question on top of my mind. And maybe for me and for you and for the people in this cohort, they would want illustration. They want that uniqueness and
Mm.
that. But again, it depends on this person that you're targeting. And
Mm.
I really love how he has highlighted the numbers. But all what I would have done is like possibly push the numbers on top, right? And
Mm.
if that impactful, like
Mm.
possibly it could have been on. And you just need to think like if people are coming on mobile view, they have to do a lot of scrolls to see the data, and the information that we are providing here, including live bus tracking, cheap fare, guaranteed seats, is genuinely something that anybody would expect, right? These are
Mm.
few data points that anybody who comes onto the platform would expect. So I might push it down and try to push this up, the data point. I mean, the social aspects and the numbers up,
Mm.
right?
Interesting.
And even the reviews are way low. Like I would still wanted to bring it up. I know that this is the hierarchy most of the landing pages follow, but I would possibly still have it
Mm.
on top.
Makes sense, right? Which
And
is, I think this is a very interesting way to show trust
yeah, yeah,
by showing social proof. And I think this kind of goes, see, two approaches here, right? Just to kind of recap for you guys what Shai was mentioning. Two approaches, right? This is social proof, it adds trust. Same with this, social proof adds trust. Now, what Shai is mentioning is these features, I would say, what he's saying is move this on top. This is what he said, right, Shai? This one?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Move this and possibly can be combined here. Um,
Exactly. I was
hmm.
thinking. Yeah. The title could have been infused actually, like the trusted companies and the number of buses that we have, or the number of users that we have, be in an infused title, and then have the data points on the right side with the companies on the left hand side. So it could have been a
Yeah. Personally,
linear approach there. Yeah.
yeah. Personally, I'm okay with both approaches, which is I've kind of seen like my observations is a lot of companies or a lot of landing pages today, this kind of social proof and trust is kind of sprinkled throughout multiple times. So I guess the approach Akash is taking is let's kind of break it up. Let's reinforce it multiple times. Um, but yeah, my observation. So bang on the regionality. Let's just say diversity of illustrations, right? Actually using Indian people. So like
Yeah.
here, nice, right? The only other way to do it, yeah, exactly how Shai mentioned, was use the real images, right? You might not always have real images, so I can see Akash has used these illustrations. Other than that, on brand, I think what I liked was now Apnibus currently their, let's just say their brand is just the green. That's the kind of main brand they have. So my
Yeah.
guess on your previous question, Shai, is yeah, I think he has just expanded on that original, which is
Yeah.
using a different green, right? I guess this maybe works better, but kind of also going into other pastels and stuff. Now, personally, whether this is the right brand decision or not, I mean, that's up for a collaborative discussion. But I like that you took the core features here. Agree with Shai on the node, on the little. So let me show you guys. This is the small animations here. Um, so this is for notifications to show live tracking. Yeah. Mm. Okay. What else? Some more testimonials, right, folks? Trust. So testimonials do help with trust. So just a testimonial section here. FAQ, CTA. Yeah. Simple. Talking about the Hindi one though, I would say my, like, it looks cool, but my I didn't really love the font, right? And I it does feel like Akash is testing out what the font is. Um, which is I see Shubham's comment as well, which is what should be the default? My, like, Hindi or English. My guess is maybe Hindi should be default since that's how they've done it. But then I think this is a bigger discussion to have with the team because their old version had Hindi as default. New version they I think switched to English as the default. Any thoughts on that, Shai? What should default be?
Uh, but if the sentence, I mean, if the company says that I'm going to be the largest in Rajasthan, I would be more inclined towards using the native language because like it's much easier to cater
Yeah.
to them. But again, like it's also dependent on the new gen actually having the capacity to read. They speak, but also will they be able to read?
Mm.
That's also another question, that because I can speak Tamil, I can't read Tamil. I can
Mm.
read Hindi. So in that perspective, it's like a lot of. Uh, I mean, like again, like can it become really hard for people to read? Is also something that you might want to see.
Mm.
But I think taking this approach can work, but I'm not really sure. Like, will
Yeah.
people be okay with it? Do you think it adds something? I mean, do you think it has negative impact on credibility?
On credibility, I don't think so. But I
Ah,
agree with what you said, right? Which is even a lot of Hindi speakers typically see more. They don't text in Devanagari. They text in the English, right? Which is just English. And so I think they're more used to reading. They might be more used to reading like English, like in English, but it's the Hindi words.
yeah,
Um,
that's something that we have to see. Yeah,
but
and
on a
like you said, font.
hmm,
So the font is also certain to an extent doesn't have stroke width, or maybe the font weight is not consistent. Maybe the font could have been thought well, because there is no hierarchy is entirely broken with the Hindi font.
hmm. Yeah, I would probably use a different font. Maybe something that does have this level
Yeah,
of like thickness, right?
weight.
This is a very
Yeah.
geometric, thick typeface. I would probably try to find something similar here. Like this exclamation mark, for example, I hate it. Like this exclamation mark does not go with this typeface for whatever reason, right? The shape doesn't feel off. Of course, it can be challenging sometimes find a Hindi font, but not anymore actually. Right? In the past, it was actually much harder. Today, there's actually a good set of Devanagari fonts available, but it's a matter of experimentation to just get it right. Yeah, I would also
And
suggest a middle approach. Shai, I think. What do you think about this? Like a English plus this kind of approach.
ah, so that adds more credibility, right? Like we can take up a
Hmm.
data saying that people can read English, but if they see Hindi over there, they'll be like, "Hey, it's native. I can connect with it," right?
Hmm.
So I think that would be a nice approach. Yeah, many people do
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And in terms of the color palette, right? Like using a pastel shade, I've seen this as a pushback with a lot of the new generation people also, right?
Oh
Not
yeah.
just people who are like of possibly at the 20th century or whatever, like even from the 1996 or 1995, the millennials and Gen Zs, right? Like even if you look at millennials, they might be okay, but I've seen only like 10-20% being really supportive of pastel colors. I really like it, maybe because we're design centric, and I'm really worried about using pastel colors because like the moment I start using it on my landing pages, I get a lot of pushback, and
Hmm.
I've seen this as a data point in my captain also. I mean, in the edtech company that I was working, right? So when we were trying to build for the tier 3 and tier 3 and tier 2 cities, the mentees were trying to say that hey, it's not matching up, it's not something that I could relate with, right? And I'm not able to find these colors uh, attractive. For me it looks really nice, but I'm really worried about what people might think. So
Perception. Yeah.
in the perception, so Akash, did you really test it out? Did you show this to people in terms of color? Like, can you leave a
Hmm.
text?
I get what you mean, which is I like it because to me it gives it gives the like sticky notes type of vibe. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and even at Unacademy, we used pastels quite a bit in the
yeah.
design because it was mostly white. And so you want to go with that minimal. But I can see
You
a,
won't believe, you won't believe. I've seen a lot of people talk about unacademy colors, and I was really impressed with the way that you guys have used the colors. But again, it's pastel, and a lot of people are not able to accept that. I don't know why.
hmm,
Like maybe it's not for everyone. That's something that I'm
I
really
can,
scared of using.
I can imagine like people thinking this looks unprofessional, like jatang lag raha hai, matlab pink dal diya,
Oh,
um,
and talking about the color palette, not only the pastel part, using so many different colors in one section can also off-put certain people. Like, I'm not sure to what extent. Uh, if you look at 10K as a brand, right, like it has so many different colors in the landing page. Even if we have that, but it goes well with the brand. But when you look
hmm,
at brands like Apni Bus, you can't, because like I think if Abhinav has, I think this is what Abhinav would have thought, right? a design that is everlasting. Like it just, I don't have to touch that design ever again. Like it is going to be super cool. It's going to be there for a longer time. But when you look at upneighbors, they have to capture the current market. They have to keep evolving as they grow. So I wouldn't play around with having a lot of different colors, and that's something that
Mm,
might.
yeah. Personally, I think for a concept design, it's okay. But in a real scenario, you would probably want to make another variation of this, which is the safer variation, and then just have both so that a conversation can happen, right? A good informed conversation. Because in the end, people might say, I feel this, I feel that. But the minute you show them both, they're like, oh, okay, now I can see that,
Now I get it. Yeah.
yeah. But overall, Akash, killer job, okay? Really nice job
Yeah.
on this. I think looks really good. You went a little bit above and beyond, prototyping these individual bentos. So really nice on that too. Um, Real quick, folks, just to show. I mean, I don't want to show Akash's full Figma file to you guys, right? I think I want to keep that a little private. But just to show you a little bit of Akash's process, actually, maybe we should have started with this. Uh, okay, next one
Yeah.
we'll maybe start with process first. But Akash's process overall was understanding, breaking it down. So you can see, I've just taken a screenshot from his file, which is figuring out what is there, what are the key things that they differentiate themselves on, also known as USP.
Yeah.
Target users, who are they? What's the tone of voice? Akash did a little bit persona research, so let's see. A frequent bus traveler or somebody who's coming home to visit. I guess that's the two distinctions he's taken. Brand, okay. I think he's extrapolated from that original green. Although, yeah, a good point, Shai, about the pastels thing, which is it kind of does not, like, I think this sets a really nice, like, this is the biggest brand visual on the page. And so I would probably try to use this green, um, uh,
Yeah.
the safe version. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this maybe a little bit. So, frequent bus traveler. Okay. Um, yeah. What do you think about persona selection? Personally, I think it's a little bit smart, which is the two types of users he's identifies. One is somebody who kind of travels on those routes regularly. The other, so I can see that the split he's made is by frequency. So one is somebody who's a regular traveler multiple times a week. The other is somebody who's probably coming Delhi, say, ek bar, meeting family. Um,
Yeah. I think, but to an extent, to a question that I have, when I saw this, I really thought that, okay, if I cater to persona 1 and persona 2, it'll literally, even if I have persona 3 or 4, it'll still suffice them because these are the most important set of personas, right? But again, the question that arises for me, like I read this
hmm,
before coming on the call. Um, it didn't kind of, just a thought that I have is like maybe the design is not kind of aligning with persona 2, because I'm not sure, maybe I'm just expanding the persona overall, but whatever he has written is actually kind of catering to that. But when you look at population from tier 2 and tier 3, and uses bus as a primary source, don't you think that they would be wanting the landing page to be very actionable?
hmm,
For example, like I said, having that CTA right on top, just
hmm,
get my stuff done, right? Because both of them are almost a frequent bus travelers. Like people, they go for a longer transport, right? Like for a longer distance, they will eventually end up using the bus. Both the
yeah,
personas.
true.
So in that case, the UX I would have taken is that the landing page should have been more actionable. So that is what kind of contradicted with me. Like when I saw the Persona 2,
Yeah.
Persona 1, I was like, okay, fine, but still, even with Persona 1, I felt that it had to be actionable. Uh, that's just a thought
Hmm.
from my end.
Makes sense. I think maybe Akash already tried this. Maybe it's in his Figma file. But yeah, agree
Yeah,
with you, which is I think the next logical step would be like just add it here,
yeah,
the from to selection. Maybe, I mean, catering two personas, you could maybe show some suggested tags with this as well. So suggested most common routes or something like that.
Yeah.
But for me, persona, I would say the main place where you can use this persona, Akash, should probably be in the copy, which is in the end, the UX roughly, I don't think it changes too much for these two personas. But the copy, you could say more things that maybe align with this one. Like this kind of is, like, let's just say live tracking. Um, yeah, I'm not sure actually. But Akash, just keep this in mind. A question you might get in an interview is,
Yeah.
okay, you've done this persona, you've done it by frequency, but can you show me something? What are some specific things you would change if you wanted to make this a little better for this persona? My suggestion would probably be copy. That's the most straightforward one. Shai's suggestion would be, maybe go deeper, show the CTA. Yeah. In fact, I have a feeling the fact that Akash saw this version,
Uh-huh.
he probably thought that, okay, maybe these guys don't have a web version, so let's not put it. But now
Yep, yep.
it definitely seems like they are moving in that direction. So yeah,
Yep.
which makes it even stronger of a need that they have a, you know, aligned thing. Because back then it was just a marketing communications page. Now there is actual functionality and things you can do here. Cool, folks.
From your experience,
Yeah.
Abhi, like, why do you think um, people take up that approach? Yeah, I do understand that we're coming to the market for the first time, and then we just need a landing page.
Mm.
But is there any strategic thing that you did it in during your time at an academy? Like, is it for marketing or is it for paid ads? Why do you think even before having a full-fledged website, we end up building a landing page?
Mm. So the way I think about it is, what's the function of the landing page, right? So usually when you're doing an app, you could send people directly to the Play Store, and that has all the screenshots. Like this exact copy can also be put on the Play Store description or in the images, right? So that way you have to think about what's the purpose. And folks, this is question answer for you guys if you're thinking about this. You have to think about purpose. Right? Usually if it's a full-fledged travel website, then the purpose is, yeah, exactly what the startup does. It should be able to do every single thing that the startup has. But if it's not a full-fledged, right, if it's just a marketing communication page, right, the CTAs get the app. In this case, it's kind of like I would say maybe it's a nice to have, which is even when somebody searches for Apni Bus, let's say on Google, like, so the search intent probably starts at Google, and then in the top results you would probably see the website, but you would also see then the app, and so people might directly click the app. um, However, a lot of, I would say the main purpose for this is, it's just good to have, especially at this early stage. You might, like, you can get away without having a website, just the app alone.
Yeah.
But then as a company, it does feel a little bit more legit to just have all of this stuff sorted. And in the end,
Yeah.
people might think about, what's the need for brand? You're just booking tickets, your brand ki kya zarurat hai, right? You're not wearing a t-shirt or something. But guys, brand, we use this word brand a lot of times as a proxy for trust, right? If somebody is actually going on an 8-hour trip and they're booking a ticket, they want to trust that these guys won't run away with my money, or these guys, what if I reach on the day at 9 p.m. and they're like, oh, where's your ticket? No, we don't know who the hell these guys are. So I would say the main purpose here should have been trust, and does seem like they're going in that direction. Yeah. Mm.
Even it's the habit of word of mouth, right? Like I go and say like, hey, Abhi, why don't you try Apni Bus?
Mm.
And the very first approach that we would take is like go to Google and search Apni Bus. So
Mm.
then they end up over there, then they find the application, and like you said, the brand builds the trust over there, and then converts you into the converts you into having a space in the smartphone. So
Mm.
I think yeah, it does help in a lot of different perspectives.
Mm. But folks, if by any chance you're the founder of Apni Bus and you're watching this, you're like, who the hell are these guys giving me feedback on my startup? We would love to help you figure your design out, right? We would love to help you maybe hire a designer. You can definitely check out this link. I've included links to Akash's work, but also some of the other folks who've worked on this problem statement. I think we can shortly just real quick take a look. But these are some of the other ones. I mean, again, I'm not going to go too deep into feedback, right? These folks have had multiple rounds of feedbacks with their mentors kind of already. But some interesting approaches that I observed, using these bus logos to show proof, right? Assuming the users are kind of familiar, seeing this on buses and stuff, I think that kind of can be a good recall.
Yeah.
I always love this kind of design, which is showing your product in context. So, like being used. Um, nice inclusion here. I would probably change this black text to white though. Quick note for Zainab. I'd probably change this to white. Just I think it would be better contrast with this green. Um, but yeah, nice job on this. Not gonna go too deep into feedback, guys, but yeah, I would definitely check some small stuff here, Zainab. Like just this few typos on the page, like here and here, like no space. But good attempt. Yeah. Let me quickly show you this one. Shai, this was another prototype that I really liked. I like the effects here. Uh,
Yeah.
let's see. I think this is also supposed to animate. I don't know why it's not doing. Okay. This was a nice one. I kind of liked this section. This kind of shows quick A to B kind of routes. So this I thought was an interesting way to visualize the routes that are available. This could be an interesting way to also kind of build that recall for persona 1 and 2. So persona 1 here is somebody who does this as a commute. So for them, they would probably be looking for Rajasthan to Rajasthan places. And then you can probably also include a few here which are like bigger cities. So like Delhi to Rajasthan, Delhi to Jaipur, whatever places around. I like this as well. Uh, I think a good tip is trying to use bullet points wherever possible. It really makes your text kind of like skimmable at a glance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the
Oh,
announcement
nice.
section. Right? This is the chef's kiss designer version of the announcement section.
What they have done. Yeah.
या कुछ शहर जो अपनी बस जोड़ता है नाइस अपनी बस अब राजस्थान राज्य सड़क परिवहन निगम का आधिकारिक टिकटिंग पार्टनर है नाइस I like this also which is just
Yeah.
showing a few cities with like some recognizable landmarks. Yeah, and this kind of Radhika has also connected this over here. So when she says ghar baite macha hai vibhin, which kind of means different, she's showing a
Yeah.
few different like different city, like things here. It's a nice idea. Hmm. Shai, have you had the chance to use AI images for your landing pages yet? Like,
Yeah.
are you extensively? What's been your
Extensively.
experience with that?
So we are having a, I mean, I'm not supposed to say this, but then like we're having a brand refresh at our CRM, right? And our avatars are going to be used with AI, possibly,
Hmm.
cross fingers. I've been working my ass off for it, but then like I hope people will, I mean, we'll get the approval to use it. But again, there are so many, just on the context level, there are so many licenses you need to get and approvals that you need to get. Like when you have to use on a larger scale product an AI generated image, you have to go through so many different licenses. And my team is trying to figure that out. But we're going to use it extensively because we figure that this is going to reduce our cost to the next level. Like we don't have to worry about having models to take photos and all of it. And our
Hmm.
team doesn't have to work on these things anymore. So
Yeah.
we are literally using AI for building avatars inside the CRM. So Yeah, that's a
Hmm.
great. And what she has done, like, it looks so good. It looks so good. I don't know how did she retain the consistency. I know I think it's an AI generated image,
Not
but the
so good
consistency,
also. I wouldn't say so good because I noticed like some
the
artifacts.
eye,
So can be slightly
yeah.
better, but it's in a bus. It's definitely Indian bus. I think it's also a little bit privacy. Um, it's a privacy protection for real users, right? Like a lot of real users would not probably want their photo to be permanently on some company's website. So nice privacy protective feature as well. You can actually use
I
it,
didn't
but
know.
just make something that is not actually the person. Um,
I'll tell you, like, I had an approach to this, right?
hmm,
So if I need a model like almost similar to Abhinav, what I would possibly do is like try to do reverse engineering with DALI, try to put your image and try to extract the prompt from that, and then use my prompt upon it and to generate a most similar image, but then it wouldn't look like you. So and that's how I started creating avatars. Like I think. And I think she used possibly Microsoft's AI, and that's why these things are happening. And if
okay.
it's like the same prompt used into DALI, it would have been much better.
Hmm, got it. Yeah, I've actually seen your generations on LinkedIn. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but
One of the
personally, I
things that
actually like this one a lot. I personally like this
yeah,
one a lot as well. I think Radhika's done a really good job here. Like some of the things that we just talked about, right? Like for example, using a little bit English. I think she could push that a little further, right? Like
yeah,
apply for jobs, like read news. Like you could definitely take that mixed approach. But in terms of the brand, like the way she's used, like it's a very smooth brand, right? Like so, a lot of rounded edges, very friendly kind of looking, which is in some ways the opposite of what a bus stand looks like. Right? A bus stand is like chaos, everything moving around. Like I like this opposite approach, which is just this clean way of showing it, and really nice individual brand elements. Like something about brand elements that I personally enjoy is when you're able to create something and reuse it multiple times, right? So Radhika came up with this idea, and she was able to
yeah.
reuse this like here and here. So personally love that, right? When you come up with an interesting idea and you're able to reuse in multiple places, that reinforces the brand as people see more. Yeah.
The only thing that I felt here was like in terms of the UI,
Hmm.
it's not a mistake per se, just a thought.
Hmm.
There is inconsistency in terms of the pixel. I mean the px, right? Like the multiples of what she has used in terms of the border curve.
Hmm.
It's like being a little bit inconsistent everywhere. For an example,
Like.
these two are yeah. So
Hmm.
and above this, it's even more higher. So I think if we can use a multiple of something, it doesn't have to be 8 pt, it doesn't have to be 4 pt. You can even use a multiple of 5, but there should be harmony and rhythm between the pixel ratios that we are using, right? And
Hmm.
it's just visible. Like it looks so beautiful, but when you just look at that curve, this feels like okay, maybe we
Hmm.
just rushed into it.
Hmm. So, folks, just as an example, this is what Shai is referring to. So, like
Yeah,
this border radius, and this one. So,
yeah.
if you can use the same, sure. But I guess in this case, you can't. But yeah, I like your suggestion, Shai, which is to use a multiple such that it feels more harmonious.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, actually, I'm not sure what these values are. Hmm.
And even the bounding box, like if you go to the top, like I saw that the CTA, right?
Hmm.
Can you go to the top?
This one?
So the English and Hindi, the toggle that we are using on top has certain level of padding, right? On top of the text, which is your padding top, padding left and right. And then you have your CTA, which is your the bus green, yeah, the main CTA, the primary CTA. So these two things are not having the same rhythm again. Like I'm able to visually see that. So maybe the again the multiple is where it's failing. So the multiple is not only for the border curve, but it's also for the padding, the internal padding, the left and right,
Hmm.
from the text to the
So you're
margin,
talking about
and yeah,
internal padding, as in this one here.
no, from here to here.
Okay, this one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the top padding and the bottom padding and the left and right padding, right? Like, so if it would have
Mhm.
been the same multiple, I think it would have been a bit higher. Like, I think the height of the toggle would have been a bit more. Just a guess, just a wild guess that I'm taking.
Hmm.
It just
One
doesn't feel
suggestion I would.
clickable. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. Actually, this is kind of getting drowned out a bit.
Yeah.
One suggestion I would give Radhika is maybe you could consider moving this here,
Ah,
just like how Akash did that. Right?
yeah.
Maybe that would be a good idea. And another thing I would personally try here is I would try swapping these two sections.
Yeah.
So typically we start reading left to right, and so it's a nice idea to have text starting from this left edge. And so maybe I would put this section here, and then the bus thing on the right. That's just a variation I would try, and then this one maybe to the top. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
nice imagery here as well. I think people are really
Using AI.
getting into AI imagery. Yes,
Yeah, here also the padding of the click CPS.
yes,
I mean, input
yes.
fields.
Yeah,
I think
this.
componentization is the key to all of this. Like, if you just componentize almost anything that you do, just make it as a habit. It just should be a muscle
Mm,
memory. I think we won't make that mistake.
mm.
Because
Yeah, true.
while designing,
Same issue
humans
here
will
as well.
keep.
You were saying?
I mean, like, using auto layout and componentization should become a habit, like just like a muscle memory. Because what will happen is, like, as you keep designing, so many different components are being introduced. It just become overwhelming to handle them together. So say that a padding for an input box has to reflect across all the text, all the buttons, all the CTAs. Then it become very hard. I think in this particular design that you're showing me, the auto layout has been missed a lot.
Mm,
Like, even the connect on and the WhatsApp icon.
mm. Yeah. A quick tip here for Radhika. No, not Radhika, sorry. Zainab. Is I would
Zen.
probably move this and align this a little better. Like the way I see it is there's this area and then there's the phone right here. And so personally, I think balancing this out, you could probably do it better here. But agree on Shai's note as well, which is try to get more standardization for even the smaller things like spacing, boundaries, border radius, and so on. Yeah, cool, folks. How was the session? I think we're going to wrap up in a while, but we can do some Q&A. Real quick, folks, if you want to check out some of their work here, if you are hiring a designer for your company and you really liked some of the work you saw here, feel free to reach out to Akash, Zainab, or Radhika. I've included their work here. And Shai, maybe we can add yours also actually here. Photo with the, yeah, with the sticky note. Hmm. All right, folks. So that's been our session number one. Let me switch back to Cam. We can maybe do some Q&A. Hmm. Meanwhile, as we're waiting for chats to come in, a heads up, folks. Applications for Cohort 9 are open. Now, folks, we've not officially announced this on Twitter yet. We're going to do it in the next couple of days. But if you're here, you know, you want to apply for the cohort, we're giving you a slight heads up, right? So feel free to apply now. So before a bunch of applications come in after the announcement. And if you're from 10K designers and you know there's a friend of yours who also wanted to enroll, couldn't do it last time or something like that, now would probably be a good time to let them know because officially we will announce this in the next few days. So you can probably let them know right now, hey, applications are open. And of course, for anybody applying, there is also a field in the application form that asks, do you know somebody else who was there? So definitely, if you're a 10K designers member, you want to refer somebody, ask them to just mention your name in their application. right? And we will maybe do a verification and all this, but that's just a quick note there. Yeah. All right, Shai. So successfully done session number one. How's your experience?
It's so good, man. Like, I mean, the quality of what 10K has been producing. I mean, I'm able to witness it live. I've heard a lot, and to see what you guys have done is like really, really impressive. And by the way, what was your favorite? Like, which was your favorite case study?
Out of
I know,
these
sorry
three
to put
today,
you. Yeah.
uh, I'm not going to give a. I mean, I talked about what I liked and didn't, the good and
Yeah.
bad. But my suggestion to Akash, Zainab, Radhika, actually, Akash, I think, has already put out his case study on Medium.
Oh,
Maybe I'll link that here. But folks, everybody else from 10K, publish your case studies, right? Publish your work. Have a long form article that talks about these design decisions. In fact, if you want, you can even embed this live stream in there just as a little fun thing. But yeah, we'll definitely, I think, next episode onward, we'll start sharing some of the case studies as well. So that
yeah.
those of you who want to kind of revise, who want to kind of read the process in the words of the designer. See, what we did today was we gave our opinions. But if you want to hear it directly from these people who actually designed it, right? Maybe that's more relatable to you because they are also at a similar stage in their journey, maybe. We'll drop the case study link that includes their experience of actually designing it. I'll add it to this Figjam um, after this call. Yeah.
I mean, it's true, man. Like whatever you said, like most of the time we tend to design and then we don't publish it, believing that hey, can I improve it even more? Can I do it a bit more better? I really loved what these guys have done, all three of them, and so much variety. It is very visible that they have done their own stuff. They haven't taken inspiration from anywhere. It's not a. I could feel usually when I see a design, I say like, hey, I've seen this somewhere. I've seen this somewhere.
They have a
This
bunch
I
of
can.
sources that they've kind of found their own. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
But feels very raw. Like, and I felt really happy about that. Like, that
Mm,
was very nice.
mm. A quick plug here as well, folks. Um, Shai actually runs designfolio.me. This is a product that he's working on. So definitely, if you want to check this out, we'll talk about this again in some of our future episodes. But definitely check this out. If you're looking for a nice way to maybe create your portfolio website, publish some of these case studies as content, check this out. Designfolio.me.
Thanks, man.
All right, folks. Thanks a lot for attending. We will see you in the next session, which will be next Friday. We'll keep you all posted on Discord, Twitter, and those of you who are still working on your case studies, publish so that we can review it in one of the upcoming sessions. All right, guys. See you. Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much, guys.